Yeah. is where I live. I live in Kenya, at the south parts of the Nairobi National Park. Those are my dead cows at the back, and behind the cows, that's the Nairobi National Park. Nairobi National Park is not fenced in the south where I live, which means wild animals like zebras migrate out of the park freely. So predators like lions follow them, and this is what they do. They kill our livestock. This is one of the cows which was killed at night, and I just woke up in the morning and I found it dead. And I felt so bad because it was the only bull we had. My community, the Maasai, we believe that we came from heaven with all our animals and all the land for herding them, and that's why we value them so much. So I grew up hating lions so much. The Morans are the warriors who protect our community and the livestock, and they were so upset about this problem. So they killed the lions. It's one of the 6 lions which were killed in Nairobi. And I think this is why the Nairobi National Park lions are few. So a boy from 6 to 9 years old in my community is responsible for his dad's cows. And that's the same thing which happened to me. So I had to find a way of solving this problem. And the first idea I got was to use fire, because I thought lions were scared of fire. But I came to realize that that didn't really help, because it was even helping the lions to see through the cowshed. So I didn't give up. I continued. And the second idea I got was to use a scarecrow. I was trying to trick the lions that I was standing near the cowshed. But lions are very clever.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be on here again today. My name is Adewale Paul. Some of you are already familiar with me. And for those of you who aren't, it's a pleasure meeting you guys once again. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of new things, different from a couple of things differently from some of the things that we have been doing in the past couple of days. Today we'll be looking at some of the things or some of the core things about robotics. I believe some of us are familiar with topic areas like coding. While I'm not sure if you've done a lot of coding in the past, today's class is going to briefly explain some of the things that we have under coding. And then I would also want to use that opportunity to introduce you to a new coding block that we could also use, especially for those of you who are not so fascinated by coding. I remember in the last class that I had with you guys, I remember vividly that I think it was Arduino. Yeah, it was Arduino that we did. We had an Arduino class, and there were a lot of codings. Well, not so much, but there were a couple of codings that very day, and a couple of you couldn't really follow. So today we're going to be looking at an interesting way of actually programming an Arduino board without necessarily having to write code. It doesn't mean you're not going to write code. Don't get me wrong. You're going to be writing code, but this time you're going to be writing codes that are easier. You won't have to be typing input, output, turn on, turn off, all of those things. Look, you're going to be doing just the basic. Some of you are already familiar with Scratch. Excuse me. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. Just a minute. Oh. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're seeing. I'm trying to. Okay, so I think I may have made a mistake somewhere. Let me stop the share. I'm gonna do the share again. I'm gonna reshare this again, just so just so there is no mistake. So I'm going to reshare my screen now so that you can see what it is that I'm trying to do. Okay, so you know what, I'm just going to do the entire screen. It's going to save me plenty time. Okay, so I believe you should be seeing my screen now. All right. So now in the past, for some of you, I'm not very sure if everyone is familiar with Scratch, but Scratch is an interesting way to introduce kids, even adults, into learning to code. We've tried Scratch a couple of times in the past, maybe not in the virtual class, but we've tried it a couple of times in our normal classroom setting. We've had amazing fun. We've built a couple of games using Scratch, and this coming summer, I can assure you, we're obviously going to be looking at Scratch again. So for those of you who are probably nearby or around, you might want to check out Teamspreneurs Hub this summer, because we have loads of programs for you, especially around coding. All right, so back to Scratch. So like I said, we've looked at Scratch a couple of times in the past, and we use Scratch. Scratch is code-based, meaning you don't have to be writing codes. You just simply need to drag and drop a couple of codes to form whatever line of codes that you want to write. I'm going to open an example very quickly so that we see what it is that I'm talking about here, in case there is anyone among us who does not understand or who have not tried their hands on Scratch before. So let me try under the ideas. Oh, no, sorry. I think it's supposed to be explore. Let's explore existing content. Okay, so I'm going to try this. Blocky 2. I'm going to try Blocky 2 very quickly. Come on. All right, mind you, Scratch works both online and offline. I'm working with the online version. That's why it's pretty slow right now. There's also the offline version. If you have the time, if you have your personal computer, you can download the offline version. So you can learn with it. You could build your own programs. You could write games. You could write. You can do some sort of animations with it. Okay. So I'm just going to go inside. I don't have the time to wait for it to load. Okay, so this is taking more time. All right, fantastic. So this is the program that this person has written, Tim McCoo, that's the name. This is the program he has written with Scratch. As you can see right here, this is the result right here. I could play this. If I play this, okay, so you see, you can select the level, you can import a level. Let's say I want to create a new level. I just follow whatever options that is here, but I don't think there's anything. Okay, good. I don't think there's anything here that I can actually do. However, so let's say I want to write a code in here. The ideal way to go about this is to drag and drop. Okay, so I'm going to have to stop this first. Okay, so stopped. Okay, it doesn't seem like I can edit this code, and I would have just loved to, give you an idea. Anyway, let me just do new. All right, so I'm doing new. So for Scratch, remember, I'm not teaching Scratch today. I just want to quickly bring us through Scratch, just explain a little bit of Scratch so that I can introduce us to the main program I want to talk about today, because the program I want to talk about today is actually reliant on Scratch. We'll be looking at Introduction to Electronics / Robotics this afternoon. But we're going to be, because you can't do robotics or electronics, you can even do a little bit of electronics without coding. But without coding, you cannot do any robotic whatsoever. You can't, because you need to program your robots. And this is where coding comes in. So the program we're going to be using is based on Scratch 2.0, which is the Scratch you're looking at on my screen right now. It's based on Scratch 2.0. So I want to quickly just ease us into Scratch 2.0 before I now begin to talk about the program. So say, for example, I have this guy here. This is my cat here. So I can move him around with my mouse. However, if I were to program him to move, so let's say move 10 steps, Let's see. Okay, so let me go to event first. Okay, so under events, I say when I click. So when I click this green flag, as you can see here, when this green flag is clicked, I want this to move 10 steps. Okay, so if I press, let me re-explain. I think I'm too fast. Let me start all over. I would like to program this card here. I would like to program it to move. I like to perform some sort of actions with it. Remember, we're doing coding. However, you need to set some sort of instructions under your code blocks before this will happen. And remember, we are not writing any code. We're just going to be using code blocks, which is what you have on the screen on my left screen right here. So I'm going to say for events, from the beginning of the whole instance, I'm going to say when I click on this green flag here, drag it here, I would like for this sprite here, which is this card here, to move. I'll go to motion. Say I would like for it to move 10 steps. 10 steps in what direction? I could set what direction, and I could just, leave it the way it is. Okay, but however, I would like to move it 10 steps in to, okay, so sorry, I would like to point, sorry, I would like it to point to angle 90, and then move 10 steps. So if I press this button now, watch what happens to the cat. Can you see? As I press, it's moving. Okay, so I could also change a little bit some of this code. Now you will notice that it is when I press this green button here that the cats move. However, since I've removed the code blocks here, if I press anything here, nothing happens. So I want to try a little bit of code now. I want to try something else. So I would like to try control this time. Okay, no, not even control. Sensing. Okay. Okay, I'm going to love to use this control. Okay. So when this green button here is clicked, you know what? Let me even remove the green button. Let's see what happens when we don't use the green button. So if I press the, say, right arrow, look at the statement again. If key right arrow is pressed, then what should happen? I like for it to move 10 steps. 10 steps where? In angle 90. Move 10 steps, angle 90. Okay. I'll duplicate this. Okay, now before I do that, let's test it. So if I press this, you see nothing happens. However, if I begin to press my arrow key, okay, hold on. Let's go to events. All right, so press this, nothing happens. Sorry, something is obviously wrong from my code. Trying to figure out what could be. Sometimes we scratch, your code might even be perfectly right, but then you still don't get some of the result you want. So let me change to space bar. Let me remove the points in direction. Let me just try this 10 steps, just this alone. Okay. So I'm pressing my space bar and nada. Okay, sorry, I've been using the wrong key, my bad. So when right arrow is pressed, sorry, I was the one who was using the wrong key. Move 10 steps. Okay, no, I don't want to move 10 steps this time. I like to glide. Okay, you know what, let's just do 10 steps. Scratch is not the main focus here. All right, so if I press my right arrow, you can see it's moving. However, if I press my left arrow, you can't see me pressing my left arrow right now, but I'm pressing my left arrow and nothing is happening. So if I want my left arrow to also initiate some sort of movement, I need to replicate this. This time I'm going to duplicate this. However, I have right arrow here, so I'm going to change it from right. However, if I press the left arrow, you can see it still goes the same direction as the right arrow. That's not what I want. So at this point, I need to change the direction. So I'm going to put the points in direction. That's I have 90 here, so I'm going to change it to -90. Okay, and then I'm going to test. All right, so I'm doing negative 90 right now. However, this guy just turned upside down. Okay, so going to do the same here. Okay, so we have there, but this guy keeps turning upside down. So in order to correct this, I'm going to come right here. I believe it's under the properties. Please bear with me. It's been a while I've used Scratch. Where's this? Where's this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me try again. Forward, backward. Exactly. Yep. Here we go. So if I were to make it to go up, what do you think is going to happen? What kind of code am I going to put here? If I want him to go up or down, what kind of code? Anybody? All right, so it's pretty much similar to what I've written here. So I'm just going to duplicate this, duplicate. Have this right here, duplicate this as well, and put it right here. So all I need to do now is change the arrow key, up arrow, down arrow, and then change the degree. So for this, I would love for it to be here. It's supposed to be 0, as you can see. Forward, backward, up. So for down, that is definitely going to be 180. All right, so let's test that out. Can you see? So you can see Scratch is pretty simple. So the same idea that we have here, right here in Scratch, is the same idea we are going to be implementing when it comes to our electronics. So this is Scratch. This is basically what I want to show you on Scratch. Let's go back. All right. So I hope no one has asked any questions here. Let's, all right. So moving on. So basically, I've shown you the sort of like an introduction into what it is that we're going to be looking at today. I've shown you what Scratch can do. So we're going to be looking at another program that is known as Adu Blockly. Adu Blockly is just like Scratch, except you use it to program this popular microcontroller here that I believe every one of us should be familiar with now, Arduino. See? I believe we all know what this microcontroller is. This is an Arduino. Okay, so this is an Arduino. Give me a few minutes. Let me launch the interface for Adu Blockly so we can see what it looks like. So I'm not sure we'll be able to look at any tutorial, any hands-on today. One, not just because of time, but two, because I'm not sure if you have the same setup as I have here. I'm not sure you have it. Then secondly, my setup would not even allow for me to sort of multitask. Multitask in what way? I might need to be moving the camera up and down, back and forth in order to show you some of my setup. I'm going to try. However, at the moment I realize it's a bit too stressful, I'm just going to go ahead and explain, and then maybe in the next class I would have a setup so that we can see how all of those things are going to run. So, like I said, this is my Arduino. So let me show you what Adu Blockly interface looks like. All right, so I believe we can all see my Adu Blockly screen. Now, this is a bit different from Scratch as you can tell from the interface. However, you can see they have something similar, somewhat similar. Scratch is used for programming games, telling stories. Excuse me. However, in the case of AdoBlockly, we use it to program just Arduino. Now, on a normal day, if you were to program an Arduino, you would have to use an Arduino IDE. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to stop this screen so I can show you what the regular Arduino looks like and the difference between the regular Arduino and this one that we're about to use. All right. So as you can see here now, when we program Arduino, for those of you that are familiar or that has been in some of my class in the past where we programmed Arduino, you would notice this is usually our setup. This is our setup, right? And then right in here, this is where we put our code to run. We put our setup right here, and then we put our loop right here. Let me open an example very quickly, like the blink, like the blink example. Okay, so this is the blink example right here. This is the whole setup here. So if you were to write a code, this is basically all you're going to be writing. You can say it's not that much. I mean, it's still pretty small compared to if you were to be writing a code in Unity or Unreal Engine, for example. But this is still pretty small, right? So if you were to program the normal old way, or rather the usual way that Arduino is programmed, you need to use the Arduino IDE, which is what you're looking at right here on the screen. Let's do it here. This is how we program Arduino. This is where we set our P mode. This is where we do our digital writes. Now, the thing there with this is that oftentimes, like we've experienced in some of the class, you notice there will be times that we wrote just the exact code. All our codes are perfect, everything well written, there is no issue. And then you output it into the code, into the microcontroller, and you get an error. Oftentimes you realize, oh, it's because you've missed a syntax, probably a comma, a semicolon, or something. Now, this is where AdoBlockly shines. AdoBlockly does not realize all those typos that you could make when you're working with the normal Arduino IDE. You can't make such mistake on AdoBlockly. It's pretty simple. So say for example, this is AdoBlockly, this is Arduino. Okay, so for coming okay, so let's take a look at Blinky, for example. All right, now when you look at it here, basically if you're going to write this code, all you need to do is to go to wherever your logic are, okay, and then you drag and drop. As you're dragging and dropping, you will be getting the source code right here on this point. You'll be getting it. This code here, if you were to copy this code here and you put it right into this place here, it's going to run just as much as it's going to run here. So all the typos you could have, all the mistakes you could make by typing everything here, maybe you're supposed to put a comma, maybe you're supposed to use capital letter, you ended up using a small letter, and then it outputs an error. All of those are going to be avoided when you're using AdoBlockly. AdoBlockly. So what exactly is AdoBlockly? AdoBlockly is a scaled down version, or better still, it's an IDE, code-based IDE programmer for Arduino, specifically for Arduino. Some of you must have seen MakeBots, MakeBlock. I think it's MakeBlock. Yeah, MakeBlock. They are using the same technology. So MakeBlock has tons of robotic kits, and because they want to encourage, it's a Chinese company anyway. MakeBlock is a Chinese company that does different types of robotic kits, because they want kids to enjoy coding. They want kids to enjoy doing programming, robotics so much. They felt, okay, instead of having to program by typing codes, programming your robots by typing codes, why don't we just make use of a different software that allows for students to just do drag and drop without so much stress. So even MakeBlock makes use of Hadoop Blockly, except they refined it, so it looks a little more interesting than what I have on my screen, but their own tech tool is based specifically on Hadoop Blockly. So this is one of their bots, very popular one. To program this thing to work, it comes with a remote, move backward, forward, and all of those things. You're going to be using the regular Hadoop Blockly blocks to actually compose your code for this to work. They have a couple of robots, tons actually, not just couple, tons. Okay, so this is another one. Every of this is programmed using Hadoop Blockly, and the microcontroller that controls each of these is an Arduino. It could be an Arduino Uno, it could be Arduino Uno, it could be Arduino Demilove, different types of Arduino. Okay, they have tons of it. They have tons of it. So in case you're wondering why you should familiarize yourself with Hadoop Blockly, Hadoop Blockly is one of the interesting ways to introduce yourself to coding, especially if you don't like coding. Hadoop Blockly is a very interesting way to start. So for MakeBlock, they have, like I told you, they have several tools. They have several robotic kits. These are all the robotic kits that they have. Then for software, I believe it's just their MakeBlock software that they have. But just hold on, let me confirm. Okay, yeah, good. So this is their software. As you can see here, you can see from where my cursor is here, you can see it looks exactly similar to what we have here, right here, just like Scratch. Where are we again? Yeah, just like Scratch, you can see here. So if you're really passionate about STEM education, then you really should familiarize yourself with Hadoop Blockly. At least get started with Hadoop Blockly. Arduino kits are cheaper than MakeBlock kits. They're quite cheap actually. An Arduino kit costs maybe like 50 or 40% of what the cheapest MakeBlock kit is going to cost. So once you familiarize yourself with the Arduino MakeBlock, so once you familiarize yourself with Hadoop Blockly, working with MakeBlock is not going to be all that much stress. In fact, you can easily just dabble into it and begin to code your robotic kits. Okay, so back here. So back to Arduino here. So in our Arduino here, we have the void setup, which is, sorry, I need to show us all of the things that we have here. I'm going to remove all the comments. So here, you see we have void setup, open bracket, close brackets, and then our curly brackets, just like we have here. In the Arduino, you can see it. And then when you go to Hadoop Blockly, we have the same thing here. Okay. Now, let me try. Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm going to try and see if I can demonstrate this for us to see. Like I said, I may have a little bit of challenge setting up things, but let me try first. Just bear with me. Okay, so my Arduino is plugged in. I'm going to confirm if the system is reading it. I'll go to block. Okay, so I can see it's an Arduino Uno, as you can see from here, Arduino Uno. Let's see what port is connected to. It's COM3. Okay, fantastic. I'll come back right here again, get the board information. Okay, once you're able to get the board information, it means your Arduino is connected properly. All right, so for the code that I have right here, okay, what I want to do first is under the regular Arduino IDE, this guy here. Okay, I took one of the examples that we have in the IDE here, which is to blink the Arduino. Okay, so in order to blink this, I simply just need to write this code that they have. The code has already been written. I'm going to remove all the comments so that you know what exactly is controlling the Arduino. I'm removing all the comments. So if you were to type this code one after the other, this is all you have to type. You don't have to type everything here. I'm removing the comments so that you don't think you have to type everything all together. One of the things that I love about Arduino coding is that it doesn't really require you to type so much. You know, there might be some projects that require lots of typing. However, most of the project doesn't require too much typing. All right, so basically this is all you need. This line of code, 1, 2. As a matter of fact, Arduino is going to type this one for you, and it's also going to type this one for you, and I believe it's going to type this one for you as well. You're the one who is going to have to put this and then this. So basically you're writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 lines of code, 5 lines of code. All right, so in my Arduino setup here, I have pin mode LED built in. So I would like for you to be able to see what it is that I'm seeing. I would like for you to see what it is that I'm seeing. Sorry, my hand's going over the camera. Apology. So this is what I have here. This is my setup. This is my Arduino. Okay. It's currently blinking as it is because that's the last code that was run on it. Okay. Can we see? Okay. Again, I apologize for my setup. I'm the only person around, so goodness. All right, so this is fine. So I'm going to run the code now. Sorry, I'm trying to get a very good view. So my Arduino has been disconnected. I can tell it's been disconnected because it just made a funny sound. Oh God. All right, this is better. So let me quickly check and be sure my Arduino is still connected. All right, it's still connected. Fantastic. So I'm going to run this code here by simply just pressing this. It's going to upload into the board. Then watch what happens. The board start blinking. So you can see, okay, it's still compiling the sketch. Still compiling the sketch. All right. Almost done. Sorry, this is the first time I'm running Arduino IDE on this system after formatting 2 weeks ago. So I think that's one of the reasons it's so slow. All right, so my code is finally installed. So you can see the Arduino is blinking now. It's blinking now. If I go back to my code, so I'm going to change the code so that you can see a significant change. I'm changing the code to 100, and I'm rerunning the code on the IDE. All right, so what you can see is blinking faster now. Can you see? The Arduino is blinking faster now. Now, all I basically did right here was to use the example that is there and then change the value. I changed the value of the delay from 1000 to 100 using the old way of writing Arduino code. Okay, now that we've established that, let's go back to our Arduino Blockly. Sorry. Okay, so to work with our Arduino Blockly again, let's take a quick look at the codes again. So you see we have voice setup on the Arduino Blockly as well, just like we have on Arduino. However, on the Arduino IDE, we have pin mode LED, pin mode. We are using the LED built-in mode, which is pin 13 actually. the built-in LED, which is pin 13. In this case, we have pin mode pin 13. This LED built-in is the same thing as pin 13. In case you're wondering, they are the same thing. Because of the way the camera is, I would have actually loved to show us how we can change the pin mode. For those of you who don't know how to do that, I believe some of the old students already know how to do all of this. Change the pin mode from 13 to maybe another pin mode, and then use a breadboard to show us. But because of the problem I'm having with the camera, I might not be able to explain that. But let me quickly explain the code first, and I'll try and see if we can get that to work. So after the pin mode, you see we have the curly brace in our Arduino Blockly. And when you go to the Arduino itself, IDE, you see we have the curly braces as well, followed by a void loop, the same thing on the Arduino Blockly. And then we have the digital write. Under the digital write for the Arduino IDE, we have the LED built-in. However, in our Arduino Blockly, we have digital write pin mode 13, which is the pin mode we've declared up here, 13. High means on. Delay by 1000, then digital write again 13, delay by digital write 13, then low, just like we have right here. Except on the Arduino IDE, I have reduced the value from 1000 to 100. This code here and this code here are the same thing. If I run it from here, it's going to work. If I run it from here, it's going to work. I'm going to get same results. So why am I saying this? To explain to you that whatever it is you do on Arduino Blockly is exactly the same code that will be generated on your Arduino IDE. Whatever you do on Arduino IDE is the same thing that can be generated on Arduino Blockly. So if I were to, so let me try something very quickly. Still talking about Arduino Blockly. I want to remove all the codes on Arduino Blockly. So remember I told you that in Arduino, you are not the one who will be writing the void setup and the void loop. These two codes here, this one here and this one here, which explains why I told you you're only going to be writing 5 lines of code for this one that we've just tested. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see right here in the Arduino that this was already, and the Arduino Blockly, the same thing has already been done for us. If I were to copy these codes here, I've not done this before, but I believe this should automatically generate blocks for me in my Arduino right here. Can I paste this? Oh, unfortunately, I don't think that's possible. Oh, sadly, it's not possible. It's not possible. So let's go back. Let's go back to our Arduino. So the thing here is you can't type any code in the Arduino source code. Whatever code you generate here will automatically, whatever code you drag in here will automatically be generated for you from the Arduino Blockly here. So I'm going to undo. Sorry. So, of course, being our first time, it is important that we familiarize ourselves with all the code blocks. Unlike Scratch, where's Scratch again? Unlike Scratch, where oh, sorry, I can't even see that the Scratch I was working with before again. So, unlike Scratch, anyway, some of the functions you have here is very, very different from what you have in Scratch. So, depending on what you're trying to do, that will determine the code block that you're going to be dragging into the Arduino. Your code block determines what it is you're going to be dragging. If your code block is okay, sorry, okay, so I understand some of you are experiencing bad network. Apologies. The screen is so small. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Wow. Okay, so let me see. What can I do? As per the screen being so small, I would maximize it. Okay. Then, sorry, I need to factor in all of your concerns. Okay, so what else? As per the network being bad, I apologize. That must be from your end. What's happening? Okay. I apologize for the network. Please try and change your ISP. Okay. All right, so let's continue. So the first thing you need to define, just like in the Arduino if you're writing your code, is to set your hardwares, your parameters. So in this case, we have set the built-in LED. Okay. Usually, what you'll be using oftentimes will be under the loop for setup. Okay, so we have the void setup. The void setup should be on the no, that's not logic. Loop is not okay. Not tests. Okay, so you may probably want to start with variables. We could start with variables, but before we do variables, I'd like to go through each one of them. Let me just run each one of them through you one by one. So under logic, we use logic if we want to set values that has to do with ifs. Okay, so I already used the word. Logic, I don't know, how do I explain this without sounding so technical? When you're comparing two instances, you're going to be using logic. When you're writing your code and you're comparing two instances, then logic is what you're going to be using oftentimes. From the code we have here, we don't have any logic. There is no logic here. Okay, so let's see. Set built-in LED to high. Wait 10 seconds. Okay, so there's a little bit of logic, but not the kind of logic we're talking about. We're looking at the logic of if, do. So in this case, we could say, if I were to do so, or if so happens. As you can see here, we have if so happen, or else if so happen, or else. You can pick whichever one here. Hold on. I think I'm way too ahead. Let me start with the basics. Loop, not loop. Not communication, not motto, not audio, not time. Input and output, obviously, we're going to be using the input and outputs. As you can see here, so let's start with the input and output, then I'll go to the variables, then from the variables, I'll go to logic and then loops. So under the input and the outputs, one of the challenges that I have with Adobe Blockly is that unlike Scratch, that once you click to show the function, you can easily just drag and drop. You'll notice with Adobe Blockly that once you click and drag and drop, all the options that you have displaying before suddenly just disappear. This option set, they suddenly just disappear. I don't like that happens. I would prefer that it opens, I pick everything that I want to pick, and then I can hide it when I'm done. But that's not the way it works here, unfortunately. Okay, so in our Arduino, yes, we have, I want to replicate the exact code that we have here. I'd like to replicate it here. So in our Arduino, we have set digital pin. In the example we have set built-in LED. However, in our Arduino, we have it's actually still built-in LED. Okay, let me just play around with the code anyway. So set digital pin, but this is not the one we're looking for. So set digital pin. So if I were to use a breadboard, for example, can you see my breadboard? Okay, so if I were to use a breadboard now, this is where this one comes in. Set digital pin. So I will be setting my pin, the pins that we have right on top of here. I hope you can see. Okay, I'm going to apologize very quickly. I'm taking this class with the assumption that every one of us is familiar with Arduino, and that's why I'm not taking my time to be explaining all the pins that we have here and what each one of them does. And that's because we've taken this class a couple of times, Introduction to Arduino. We've taken Introduction to Arduino a couple of times in this class, so I assume everybody on board right now is already familiar with Arduino. If you're not, I'm just going to very briefly just touch it. So when we talk about pin mode, we're talking about all the O's that we have here. All the O's that we have here are what we refer to as pin mode. We have A0, we have from 0 to 15 pin mode. We have GND. Okay, so inputs and outputs. We have inputs pin, we have output pin. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see any of those even if I move this very close. So let's see. Any chance we can see? I doubt it, unfortunately. No, we won't be able to see. So anyways, the pins that we have there, we have input, we have output, we have the ground port. So, yeah, we have the ground pin, we have the power pin. We also have the transfer, the receive. We have the analog pin. We have the reset pin, and then we have the 3.5 volt pin and the 5 volt pin. Yeah, those are what we have on the Arduino. So when you're doing your configuration in the Arduino Blockly, those are exactly the configurations that you're going to be setting. But let me return this. So under my input and output, so we have set the built-in LED. The built-in LED is 1. You can change. Okay, so you can change it to 1. Sorry, I'm going to, let me see, what do I do? I'm going to have to remove this. All right, so let me start from scratch again. I think it's better to start from scratch instead of doing it the way I want to do it. Input and output. So I have set the inputs. Let me do exactly what it did before first, before I now advance to changing pins areas. So set the built-in LED. The built-in LED, which is the pin 13 that I mentioned earlier. If you look at the Arduino right now, you see that area that is blinking. There is a pin very close to it. That's the pin we are referring to as pin 13, and that's the pin that is also referred to as the LED built-in pin. Okay. All right. So set LED built-in pin. Okay. Sorry. I need the 2 LED built-in pin. I need it 2. Okay. Logic. Is it logic? Oops. Sorry, I made a mistake. Sorry, made a mistake. All right. So I'm looking for the weight variable. Okay, no, it's not variable. It can be under max. Sorry, I'm looking for the weight block. It can't be here. It can't be here. Okay, sorry, found it. It's under time. Okay, so it's under time. So set the built-in LED to built-in LED 1. I want to set it to I. So under time, I would like for my Arduino to wait 10 seconds. Okay. So as you can see here, the pin mode has already been defined for me as the built-in LED. And then when you look at the function that I want it to perform, which is high, this guy here, that's what we have here under digital write. Can you notice? I don't know if you noticed what I just did there. Let me bring it out again. So digital write, set LED built-in, the built-in Arduino, which is digital write here, digital write 13. What should happen to it? I want it to turn on. This automatically becomes high. If I remove it, it turns to low, as you can see here. But the moment I bring it back here, it turns to high. I can also change it from high to low here, as you can see, and that will automatically reflect from here. However, I will want it to be high. Then I want the Arduino to wait 1000 seconds. I'll duplicate this, drag this here, duplicate the weight, and put it right here. So I'm going to change the value now from high to low. And then basically I have all my codes written. 5 line of codes already written. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I save this now, so save, let me save this. Documents. Do Blockly. I'll call this Blink. All right, so this is saved. Saved already. What happened? All right, so my code is now saved. If I want to test it, however, okay, I don't think Hadoop Blockly had the function for me to be able to test it right from Hadoop Blockly. So I will still need an Arduino ID. Okay, hold on, let's see. Oh, I can see upload program here. So upload program. Oh, it's uploaded. Fantastic. I've always been sending it to the IDE. Okay, so I'm going to do something quickly. I'm going to change the code here. I'll change it to 500. And then these two to 500. Okay, and then program upload. Okay, sketch has been uploaded. However, this still seems like, I'm looking at the Arduino right now, but it's still blinking really fast. I expect it to be blinking pretty slow. I think it's still running this code that I have here, this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset this. Okay, so it's still running the old code. It's still running this code here. So let me check if my code is right. Okay. To check if your code is right, you just verify sketch. It's verifying your sketch. So if you don't get any error, it means your sketch is fine, meaning our code is actually fine. We use this verify. We use this here to upload to Arduino. However, I don't see, it doesn't seem to be saying my Arduino. So let me just look through very quickly, see what could be wrong. I'm going to go to preference. Okay, so under the Arduino board, I can see, I think I might notice what the problem is here. My Arduino board is Uno. It's on COM3. Okay. All right. So let me try this again. Unfortunately, I'm still getting the same results. The Arduino is still blinking the same way. It's still blinking the same way, as you can see here. Hold on, can you even see it? It's still blinking the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these to Arduino IDE. I will open Arduino IDE. When you set to take to Arduino IDE, naturally what it will do is to open the Arduino IDE for you. Where is it? Okay, so it seems I have an issue with my Hadoop Blockly. I apologize for that. I think there is an issue with this. Okay, yeah. Unable to find Arduino IDE. The compiler directory has not been set. Please set it in the settings area. All right, so let's do that very quickly. So these are some of the things you might probably experience when you're using Hadoop Blockly, because when you don't set all the things that you're supposed to set, you're definitely going to have issues. So I'm going to come right here into my preference. Maybe that's why I'm unable to upload the sketch. All right, so compiler location. Please select a valid compiler location. You're not giving me the option to do anything though. Okay, so how do we bypass this? All right, just a minute, guys. Okay, so this is where you do that. This is a bit technical. Don't worry about this. I think maybe in another class, when I'm taking this class again and I have a proper setup, I'll go through all of this process for you so that you don't have to go through or you don't have to worry about anything. So for my Arduino IDE parts, in order to get that, you just need to look for where the Arduino is installed. You go to the location where the Arduino is installed. I believe mine is here. Arduino, yeah. So this is the parts. Copy this here and come right here where you have Arduino execution part there. Save. All right, so you paste it and you save. Once you're done saving, let's go back to our Arduino Blockly. I'm going to return, come back here again, see if my parameter is properly set. Okay, so I'm going to have to close this now. Sorry, I didn't save it. So I'm going to relaunch my Arduino Blockly. Okay, so it's launched now. I'm going to go back to edit, preference. All right, so yeah, my compiler location is now showing. Fantastic. So I think I'm good to go now. So what I'm going to do is come back to input output very quickly. Input output, set built-in. Good. Time. Wait 1000. Sorry. Wait 1000 seconds, microseconds. And then I'll duplicate these two. All right, so one has to be high, one needs to be low. Done. So basically this is what I want to do. So the next thing I'm going to do is, let me see if I can compile it right in here. Okay, so I'm going to pause just a little bit, so we can have a short break, maybe for question and answer. Okay, while we continue, before we continue with our class again. So let's take a break. All right, so please, if you have questions, I would like to take your questions. Some of the things that have been made aware now is that today's class seems a bit complex. I can assure you, being the first time and because my setup is not actually well prepared, it may look like it's very difficult, but I assure you, I guarantee you, this is a lot simpler than you having to write your normal code. It is a lot simpler. It's the best way, actually, if you ask me, to get started with Arduino when you want to write code. It looks tacky, it looks tricky, it looks difficult at first, but like I said, it is very, very easy. It's easy, it's simple. managing it is a lot easier than writing all those line of codes. If you have questions now, please, I would appreciate if you put it into the question box so I can quickly answer before we get back to the class and round up our class for today. Questions, guys? I'm taking questions now. Questions? Questions. No question? Do we want to take a breather? Would we like to take a breather? Guys? All right, so I think I'm going to give
Question is coming. Get yourself set for the question. It's coming. The question is coming. Get yourself set for the question. I want to throw out the question now. The question is coming. Get yourself set for the question. The fastest finger. The fastest finger will get it all. The fastest finger will get it all. The fastest finger will get it all. Get yourself set for the question, the fastest finger. Get yourself set for the question, the fastest finger, get it all. Yeah, I go. That's the question. The fastest finger. The fastest finger, get it all. 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 This is we're giving out prizes from our partners today, and the fastest finger will get it all. Drop your answer on the comment box. Drop your answer on the comment box. Kindly drop your answer on the comment box. The fastest finger. What are the 2 projects? Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino for. Yeah, I'm waiting for you guys. The fastest finger, I get it all. I'm waiting for your response. Drop your answer on the comment box. Mention 2 projects you can use. Mention 2 projects you can use. Mention 2 projects. Let me edit that. Mention 2 projects you can yeah, I think I got it now. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. The fastest finger, get it all. The fastest finger, get it all. Yes, we're waiting for the fastest finger to get a question. You're going to win yourself data subscription for 1 week. 1 week data subscription. If you are the first person to respond, you get 1 week data subscription. The first person to get the question right, we win a data subscription for 1 week. Free data subscription. The first person to get the question right, we win free data subscription. The first person to get this question right win data subscription, free data subscription. The first person to get this question right. We're waiting for you. Drop your answer in the comment box. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. 2 projects. Where are you, God's Grant? Where are you, Jomiloju? Oluwatofumi, where are you? Drop your answer in the comment box. The fastest finger, get it all. The fastest finger, get it all. We are going to give you data subscription for 1 week. The first person to get his answer gets data subscription for 1 week, free of charge from our sponsors. What are 2 projects? Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects you can use. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. The fastest finger will win special prizes from our mentor, from our partners. Mention 2 projects you can use. 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects that you know that Arduino can create for you. Mention 2 projects. That's 2 projects. The fastest finger, get it on. To confirm that you have learned today, mention 2 projects. I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for you guys. Waiting for your comment to come in. Keep dropping your comment. So once you drop your comment and you are sure of your answer, drop your number, your preferred number, and that number must be an MTN line. Oh, don't worry. We're not going to do it this time. Drop any number of your choice. Once you drop your answer, just drop your answer, drop your name, and drop your preferred data line that you want us to credit you on. That line that you are using for your internet. Drop the number there, and then we're going to select the winner, and the winner will get 1 week internet subscription for free. from our sponsors. 1 week internet subscription for free. 1 week internet subscription for free from our mentors, from our partners. What are the 2 projects you can use Arduino to create? The fastest finger will win. The fastest finger will win 1 week data subscription. The fastest finger wins 1 week data subscription. I'm waiting for you guys. Drop your comments. Drop your answer in the comment box. The fastest finger. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. That is the quiz question for today. The fastest finger will win 1 week free data subscription. 1 week free data subscription on any network of your choice. So drop your answer, drop your name, and drop your preferred network. Thank you. Okay, so I will bring in now. I'm going to bring in our master trainer for today again to give us to shed light on our pros and plan STEM summer camp. We are planning 1 big summer camp for you guys, and you don't want to miss it. So tell your parents, tell your teacher to enroll you for this program. It's going to be a life transforming program during this summer. Get yourself prepared. We are planning STEM. We are planning physical. And it's going to be physical summer camp for students in primary, junior, and secondary school in Nigeria. Get yourself prepared and tell your parents to enroll you now. I'm going to bring our mentors, our master mentor, to talk on this. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Good evening again, and welcome back. All right, so I'm supposed to just intimate us very quickly on our STEM program for this year. One interesting thing, or what I can guarantee you for this particular year, is that it's going to be an amazing one. And why do I say so? This is one of the projects that we are going to be building. This is one of the projects we are going to be building during the class. This guy here. So, what's this guy here? This is an obstacle avoidance bot. We call this obstacle avoidance bot. What exactly does it do? It's a smart robot that avoids obstacle. You place it anywhere, it goes on its own, and the moment it sights an obstacle, the controller here, the sensor here, which is the distance sensor here, automatically recalculates based on the variables that we've entered, recalculate and look for another area where there are no obstacles. We could actually use this. So in one of the schools where we've tried this, what we did was, after we were done building the robot, as a final stage, we now decided that, okay, we're going to create a part. We decided to create 2 parts for 2 teams, actually. We created 2 parts, and then each robot stands on their own. The first robot to get to the end of the line, that team wins. Now, it's not just about racing. The code you put into your robot, as a matter of fact, this particular competition I'm talking about, I think I read recently sometime this year that even MIT tried something similar with university graduates. And this is what we are going to be trying while we are still in primary school and secondary school. We're going to be building an obstacle avoidance robot that can avoid obstacles, find its way across our maze until it gets to an area that is free. Okay, so aside from this project that you're looking at, let me magnify, make it big. Aside from this project that you're looking at, we're going to be trying a couple of other smaller objects, but this is going to be our final biggest project that we're going to be looking at this year. If time permits, we're going to look at another big project, but so far, this is the one that we've itemized out that we're going to be looking at. So for those of you whose parents has acquired the STEM kits for, you probably won't need to buy any STEM kits. If you need, we're going to be providing the kits that you're going to be using during the class. However, for those of you who would like to own this set of kits, or who would like to have this particular setup for yourself so that you can practice at home, you won't be needing the full kit. At the Teampreneur Hub, we will be providing all the materials that you're going to be needing. Let me quickly show you the materials that you're going to be, as you can see from the image here. So some of the materials that you're going to be needing for this setup, this right here, as you can see. And then we have the wheels, as you can see right here, the wheels. And then we have the motor that is going to be controlling the 4 wheels, as you can see. And of course, our Arduino board, our microcontroller, very key. And then we have our ultrasonic sensor, another key ingredient. And then the motor driver shield. This is the brain box of the whole thing. So I look forward to seeing you at the summer camp. I hope to see all of your faces at the summer camp, because it promises to be one of the most fantastic ones you've ever had. In case you have not been at any of our programs before, I assure you this one is going to be one of the most fantastic. We're also going to be looking at virtual reality. We're going to be looking at augmented reality. These are some of the fantastic programs that we have for you this summer. So please tell your parents about it. Tell whoever you need to tell about it. Invite your friends. It's going to be a very wonderful, wonderful one. Thank you very much. It's been fun being here with you all. Mr. Saji, over to you.
For today, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Want to appreciate everyone for joining today's class. And next week again, Saturday, same time, 4 to 6 p.m. Next week, Saturday, that is where we're going to have another session. And if you need any, if you want to have ask questions about our plan, our proposed summer camp, you can just reach out to this number 080-7821-7393. I read that again, 080-7821-7393. That's the number to call for more information about our proposed summer camp. It's going to be an amazing platform, and it's going to be a life-transforming learning journey for you guys. And we're going to share a lot of opportunities for you guys. Everyone attending that program, we have access to relevant opportunities. I will be also teaching you how to write a very strong essay to win yourself local and global opportunity. Thanks for today's class, and thank you for joining. I appreciate everyone joining. Those of you joining out of Lagos, I can see some students joining from Delta, and somebody is joining from Kaduna. Thank you all for joining today's class, and God bless you. So I say bye for now, and we're going to select the winner for this. We're going to select the winner for our today's quiz. And once you drop your number, remember to drop your answer, your name, and your preferred data number. We're going to select the winner and send you your data directly to your phone. So be prepared. If you are the winner, you get the data. What is the question again? Mention 2 projects you can use Arduino to create. Very simple. You're very simple. Our master trainer today have mentioned that over and over again. And I wish you best luck in your learning journey. God bless you. Bye-bye for today. Now. See you next week. And same time, same station, and same channel. Remember to like our channel. Remember to like our channel before you sign out. Like our channel, subscribe to our channels, and share this YouTube. You can watch this video again. You can watch it again and again. You can watch the video again and again. Subscribe to our channels and share this video with your friends anywhere in the world. This program is designed for all African children between the ages of 6 to 18 years old. The program is designed for all African children between the ages of 6 to 15. Today, come to Step Lucky. Remember to to follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, that's STEM Club. And subscribe to our channel and share this video. Put the notification button on so that anytime we release or we are having a class, you have automatic notification on your phone and you can join the class even without receiving the link for the day. Thank you once again for joining today's class. I sign out now.